Alrighty. Get this shit over. I gotta get this. I guess I should kind of peel this up a little bit, huh? I will do it. I'll do it now. Why not? Why put off to tomorrow what you can do today? That sounds like poetic or something. Okie dokie, here we go. I think that's okay. Then if I go all the way back, the farthest I can go is to the wheel. So I feel like what I should do, guys, is instead of having this bottom, I'll have like a fake grass. You know, I feel like a fake grass would go good there. You know what I mean? Anyway. Ka-chow. You guys ready? Good morning, chili dogs. What you focus on? Gross. Don't forget to feed them horses. Today we are doing another throwing off the hump session. See you guys over there in a second. Ready? Ka-chow. Camera B. Mini wheel. All right, so this is where we will be chilling out here. Okay. Someone said, "What the F is this?" Thrown on the wheel. I tried to get all the plaster from last time out of this area here, right guys? So we're gonna wedge this up real quick. And so sometimes you just gotta get started. And once you get that little chunk here, I don't know if I trust this, guys. But you can see I kind of have this little coil swirly bit here, right? Alrighty. Right? Ooh, doggy. How much water do we have in here? We might have to get some new water in a second, but for the meantime, we'll just chill. Let's see. Whoa! That could have gone badly. My pedal kind of got screwed up. Some water right on this. When we're doing this right now, we want to have it, we want to have the wheel head damp, but not like sopping wet, right? And so that's going to help it stick to the wheel a little bit better there. Okay. And when I'm first doing this, right, I want to make sure I try to get my hand underneath this so that I don't get like a, like any sort of like undercuts that have like some bubbles in there, right? I would say that word, but I hate that word. That's like my least favorite word though, so sorry, Russell, I will not say that word. I feel like when I say that word, it just feels gross. Okay. Anyway, so we have it on right now. We're going to slowly bring this down and then use our hip to bring this up just a little bit. And it's a lot of clay, so it's hard to kind of get that centered in one go. But that's all we need to do is just get this up. We get it cruising, and we can start throwing right off the top here, right? And so the best part about throwing off the hump is that you don't really need to center any of this stuff on the bottom, right? You just bring this down, zoom. There we go, guys. Here we are, we're just chilling. You know, we're gonna open up the clay. I've been making a lot of cups recently. I wanna start selling some stuff soon, but we'll see. Of water on the inside. Slowly smooth this out. You ready? Up. Just making some cups. Grab this little bump. Space. Camera B. Bring that right up to that top there. Right down to the bottom. Again, we're going to open this up one more time. Push in ever so slightly. Find that little bump. You see that bump? Then we can start bringing this out. We're going to find that thinness, and we want to make sure that we are not make it too thin. And once we find that thinness, then we just take that right up to the top. And we say, okay, what do we got there? We kind of like that shape, right? Next thing we're going to do is going to add maybe a little line. We want something else happening here other than just round shape here. So we'll go out to the side. Okay. And make sure we make a little line here so you can see that little line. And then we're going to go from the top. And so do you see how, like, a lot of throwing on the wheel? It's more like you're just carving out the shape that you want, right? So I kind of like this little line here. So let's go back to zoom. Zoom. Also says nice curves, thank you. Again, round this off. Pause it for a second, it's looking pretty good. Okay, we're gonna take our little leather and get our leather a little bit wet here. Round off this top edge. There we go. Okay, so now we got that all kind of ready for us cruising. I gotta get rid of one tool, and while I'm over there, hold on guys, sorry. You guys are gonna have to just chill there for a second. I gotta get some more water in my pot. Some more water in my pot here. So I have a 3-bucket cleaning water system. I don't currently have a camera facing it, so sorry you guys won't be able to see. And then I also needed to not have my needle wire tool. This is my little needle knife tool thing here. You can see on one side has a little needle, one side has a little knifey knife. I want the one that has a knifey knife, and then the other side that has the flat thumb, right? I I don't really use the needle too often because I never really have to rebalance the top edges of these things, right? Anyway, so right underneath this side, we're just gonna slowly get our sponge 2 in here. And then we're right here at a 45, right underneath the interior base, and slowly push that in. And as we push that in, you'll see it creates like a little nodule right underneath here. Okay, so we got that shaped in. Now we got to define that so we can line up our wire tool here. Slow down that wheel head right underneath. You get halfway, you'll feel it release. Thanks. Wipe our hands on our pants. Fingers right underneath this edge here. You just lift that right up. Camera B, desk, and we'll set it right in our little bin. You've been binned. Okay. Back to wheel. Wheel. All right, guys. In. That one was a little bit larger than what I want if I'm going to fit double that on each one of these. So we might take a little bit less this time. You could take a lot more too, you know. A lot of people I think that throwing off the hump is just a small object thing, but it's actually a lot of other things too. You guys are crazy. Right up to the top here. Okay. Someone says, I'm taking a pottery class. Wednesday will be my second class. We get to use the wheel this time. I'm excited. But do you have any advice for a beginner? Here. Zoom. Alright. I want you to see a couple of things. I'm going to talk through this. I'm going to go a little bit slow, right? But even though I'm going slow, it's going to look like it's going fast, right? When you're at the bottom of the wheel and you're trying to pull up a wall, start from the very middle with your fingers. So my middle finger right here is touch on that inside, right? I'm slowly taking it over to this corner, and once I'm at the corner, I'm going to chill out there for a second. Then I'm going to start pushing out from the inside, going out, and you see this little bump that's forming right over my finger? My finger on the outside is right underneath, right? Once that little bump is over top that finger, that's all I got to do is keep them in place, right? So if I have my fingers locked in here, this is a little bit above this finger, right? That's all I'm doing is I'm locking those in place, I'm lifting that up, right? It's right back underneath. And so you're not really squeezing, you're not really like pushing, that's all you're doing is you're just lifting those fingers up, and you'll see that bump. If you don't see that bump, then don't be pulling, okay? I think that's really one of the quickest things I can tell you is don't be pulling unless you see that little bump there. Also, I would say try throwing off the hump too. I think throwing off the hump is actually a little bit more beneficial for beginners than like what I'm doing on this big mound than it is. I mean, don't go like overboard. You can throw on a small mound, but still throw smaller things off that small mound. It's going to make it a lot easier to do your centering, and so I would say that centering is important, right? But if you're in your class, you're going to want to get better at your throwing capabilities, so why not throw more? And throwing off the hump will help you throw more. Okay. I don't really, I never am really thinking about the idea of a pinch though, right? Like my fingers are never squishing the clay, right? Think about if your fingers are coming together and you're squishing, what happens to the clay? What happens to the clay? The clay's gonna go this way, it's gonna go this way, it's gonna go that way, it's gonna go that way. You're gonna end up with a thin spot, right? So you always, instead of squishing and squeezing or pinching, You always want to stretch the clay. How do you stretch the clay? Have one over top of the other, slowly project those over top of each other, and do you see how there's that space in between these fingers here? That's what's gonna help that clay get taller, and that's when you're gonna see that little bump there. Alrighty. We're just gonna climb this right up the side of our object here. There you go. So just adding a little bit of texture on there, right? I think that's kind of a nice little thing on a very kind of more straight vessel that's not really doing anything, right? It's kind of nice to have something else on there, give it some visual complexity, right? Hold on one second, guys. Greetings, brother. How's it go? It goes pretty well, chili dogs. Thank you for asking. I gotta just scoot my little camera thingy over here. You said thank you, of course. If you guys have questions, you know, just let me know. I appreciate you taking the time to explain your process for people who want to learn. Well, yeah, why not? I feel like sometimes people, especially in the pottery realm, kind of get a little gatekeepy about their information. And I've always thought when I first started it was a little bit frustrating. So I told myself if people ever ask me in the future, I want to help them out rather than kind of close off, a gateway to the process and the craft here, right? Yeah, another pottery session. Can't wait to go throwing for the first time. I have all the tips in my head. There you go. It's an ancient party cup. This one? I like those little lines. I feel like I have a 3D printer, so I want to start 3D printing little mini dudes, right? Like, I don't know if you guys remember those little, like, there's like little, here, hold on, let me get this off first. Okay. Camera B. Desk. Okay, let's see if we can fit this in there. It's a little bit hard to squeak those in, right? Camera B. Wheel. But what was I saying a second ago? Oh yeah, like, you guys ever have like little Lego guys or all those little army dudes, you know, like the green and the blue ones? Like, I want to make like little mini characters that I can just kind of decorate the pots with. Or you ever were one of those kids who have a composition book, and in the composition book it was a bunch of like stick figure wars in space? Like something like that on the side of a cup would be kind of nice. Alright, I got a weird air pocket here, so I'm just trying to work through that little bubble there. Someone said, I bet you won't smash the whole thing. Please smash it. It'd be so satisfying to my reptilian brain. It's a pretty interesting comment. On the bottoms of all your cups today. Thank you for the blessing. You know what that means? That means I'm going to be pretty good today. But I haven't been trimming it all recently. I've just been throwing a lot. So trimming will be later this week is when I'll trim everything. I just finished making all those wet boxes, right? The ones that I just put some of the objects into. And I was just thinking to myself, well, you know what? It'd be kind of a good idea to just fill those all up first, and then I can trim everything. Last week we made small bowls by hand. I tried to make mine look like a flower. I can't wait to see what it looks like once it's fired. I feel like if you're new, you'll always be surprised on how much things shrink. You know, you'll make this plate and you'll be thinking it's like the largest thing ever, you know, and then you take it out and then all of a sudden it's like way smaller than what you'd expect, right? But here I am, I'm slowing down this wheel, and I'm finding the thickness, I'm feeling the thickness. Okay, feels a little bit thin there, so now I'm going to start going up, right? I'm going to first just bring this straight up. And you can see that bump is always, I'm always trying to find that bump, right? You guys ever play Minecraft? You ever put a saddle on a pig and then make a fishing rod with a carrot in front of it? And then the pig just kind of goes really slow in different places. That's what you gotta think of your fingers as, right? That bump is that carrot, and your hand on the outside, that's that little bump, right? Or that's that pig that's trying to chase that carrot, right? It's always that pressure is up underneath, not really across as much or squish. It's always up and underneath and chasing. Blessing is now in place. It'll still be there when you trim. Ah. That's very generous of you. I feel like I owe you something now. Okay. Space. Alrighty. So what do we want on this one, guys? Let's get some more water and just see how thin our walls are here. Because if the walls aren't too terribly thin, we'll go up a little bit out wider. Again, you can see that bump even though it's really small, right? It's like how they turn metal into a pot, yes. We're going to try something a little bit different this time. So we don't want to go too crazy with this, right? This is a reference to the tree forms, right? But not really causing it to collapse, just keeping the form there. And then maybe round off this top, right? So you can see it kind of has this cool little zoom shape in there, right? And so last year when I did all those trees, it was kind of like they were similar to how this looks, but kind of emphasized using that collapse and that weakness spot where I was pushing in as a point where the pots would collapse and twist up, right? Anyway, let's go right underneath this bottom edge. You see there's already a place for us, right? We're over here at 5 o'clock and we're gently pushing in and down at the same time, right? And you want the pressure to be on that left side though. You don't want it to be on that right side of the tool, always on this left side into the object there. Again, I'm taking my little knife tool right underneath this edge, cutting that a little bit off. Again, grabbing my wire tool, slowing down that wheel speed, going right down underneath. Halfway. There we go. Wipe our hands on our pants. And right underneath. Lift in, up. Camera B. Desk. Desk. Okie dokie. I'm gonna sit you right there, buddy. Alright. Camera A. Have you ever added the vertical bumps and not twist it like the tree? Oh, wow. You know what's so funny? You literally just called that. You're like a sage. You're a prophet. I felt your energy through the chat. Somebody said, cool. That's a spectacular piece, man. Bravo. Oh, thank you. Damn, I guess I'm a prophet. All right. So we're starting to get a little bit, you see how there's a lot of thickness here? So we're actually going to bring this down. We'll bring this whole thing up here in a second. And you see how it's more of like a conal shape here? That's really what you want. And we don't need to center this bottom chunk. We just need to get a little dollop up here centered. think he's done this before. That's funny. So up, out, in. A bit of water on that interior. Right down to his bottom edge. And slowly lift this up. Who needs a gym when you cone massive lumps of clay daily? You know, I'll say this much. When you see jacked potters, I very rarely think that it's because they're doing they're doing pottery things and that's how they're getting jacked. I really think that's a little bit of like a internet myth. Usually those people that you see, like, for you to get jacked, like a lot of people think when you're pushing on the clay, like that's gonna get you jacked, right? You shouldn't feel like it really is that much energy and that much pressure you have to produce, or else I feel like your hands are in the wrong spot. If your hands are in the right spot, clay will move easy, right? Like the whole point is you want it to move easy for you, right? You're learning and you're having that dialogue with the material. And so I think if somebody gets jacked from clay, I think they're more trying to get jacked than trying to clay. I must away. Take care, brother. Happy throwing. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I agree with you there. Zoom. It's starting to collapse a little bit on this bottom, so I'm a little bit worried here. But I will keep on going with it. Where's my... We will go with this. We got to be careful when we're moving this top here and we're trying to round this out that we're not really putting any downward pressure, because it's already starting. You can kind of see how it wants to dip down here. It's almost perfectly flat on that bottom thing. You see the daintiest women easily control like 6 kilograms. Yeah, that, you know, my professor always told me the story of this this one really small woman. She's like, he said he was like 4'9" or something, right? And she was making camera A, making these pots that go out past my view screen here, right? And she was doing like a coil build technique too, but like throwing the coils after she placed them. And the way she would dry out the pot to support it is she asked one of them for newspaper and started throwing newspaper inside of the pot and just lit it all on fire, and literally had a fire in this to help dry out the vessel a little bit, right? How cool is that? Do you ever throw marble pieces with 2 colors of clay? Not really. I don't really delve into that that side of pottery too often, right? I don't really delve into that side of pottery too often. I feel like there's a lot of different realms of pottery, and I think like the marbling of clay, sometimes I feel like that's more into the craft, like think of Instagram potter aesthetic stuff, right? Or more decorative, I would say. So I feel like my stuff doesn't really exist in that realm, and then I also think I'm not really a production pottery guy either, though. Hopefully that doesn't totally collapse. We'll see. Let's hope. Hey, once you finish your cup there, is no problem to wash it? Do you apply something on it to allow the piece to be during in time? Do you finish a cup, there's no problem to wash it? Do you apply something on to allow your piece to be during in time? No, it's okay. Or what do you say? What? Pourquoi? I think I kind of know what you mean. Is there something like from here? Oh, like glaze. Yes. There's like, hold on. Like for example, this is kind of a simple form. This is an old school cup, right? And so the cup itself, do you see how it's shiny? You mean this stuff here? You have to pit a combination of glass, refractory, so even clay is in it, fluxes and colorants and all sorts of earthly materials can go in there to create glaze, right? And so that's how you'd finish your stuff. But yeah, you'd wanna do that. But although there is, like if you look back at really old teapots, a lot of the early teapots would not have any glaze in them, right? And why would you want that, right? But the thing is that if you were having a cup of tea, they said the best teapots are ones where you pour hot water in with no tea in it, and because it's a little bit more porous, right? Since there's no glaze on it, the tea saturates the form. And so without any tea in it, and over years and years of use, you can pour in water, hot water, and you pour out the perfect cup of tea, right? All right. Right down to the bottom here. Zoom. Right down. Over here. And maybe we want to go out a little bit wider with this one, right? And so you can see I'm bringing this out wider just a little bit first. And I don't need to be that careful with these poles at the beginning because the clay is still pretty thick, right? So I can be a little bit more experimental with these poles and try to get a little bit more material out. And then on this next one, I want to make sure I start slowing things down. Let me get to this top here. I like the way that shape looks, right? So you can see it's a little bit uneven there. So maybe I did kind of go a little bit too quickly on that. I'll do one more pull, try to even that little bit out. So right down to the bottom, going up towards the finger on the inside, and going out as well. Trying to just pull this out. There's a little bit more around, and just walk those fingers together, right? And there we go, we got a nice tea bowl form there. Some of those ancient teapots must have tea made in them regularly or they deteriorate. It's fascinating how old tea ceremonies with 1,000-year-old pots. It's fascinating. Old tea ceremonies with 1,000-year-old pots in London. Really? That's pretty cool. I feel like, I don't know if I could ever join a tea ceremony. I feel like I don't really like tea I like tea, but I feel like when I'm drinking tea, I'm always working on something. I'm not really like, well here, let me smooth this out a little bit. Actually, do we keep the lines or do we get rid of the lines? The lines kind of make it feel more full of life. How many, we have one with lines, all right, we won't do any lines on this one. That'll be because we did it on the ones earlier from here. I'm slowly walking this up. You can see those lines slowly disappearing, right? And that's all we got is a little F in the chat for the lines on the wheel here. Alright, let's round this top back off. Oh, you like lines, sorry. There's still some, like, a shadow of the lines, but once you glaze the piece, those lines kind of disappear. Okay. This will be good enough. Just right underneath this edge, slowly pushing this in. Have I done pottery for a long time? I've been doing the pottery stuff for about 6 years now. You don't get to drink it in the museum, but I get to watch. Ah, so you got to see it practice live. I understand what you mean. That's pretty cool to watch something like that. There. Dry our hands off a little bit. Camera B. So I kind of pop that up a little bit. Anyway, wheel. Wheel. That one looks nice too. Yeah, that one's more of like a T-bowl shape, I'd feel like, right? It's gonna be kind of fun trimming some of these because when you throw off the hump, it allows you to actually trim a pretty large foot without wasting too much material because you can get underneath of the clay a little bit easier. Bring this up. Somebody says, how'd you get into pottery? Well, that's always more it's a story involving my dad, right? So, I was a drawing major in art school, right? And I just finished a set of these charcoal drawings that I would say are probably my best charcoal drawings. Hold on. Camera A. Camera A. And when I finished these charcoal drawings, it was like for the end of a semester project, and I was doing, drawing for about 2 years already then, right? So I was pretty far along, and but for some reason after I finished these, even though they were my best, I felt like so empty, And then I called my dad, and was just talking to him a little bit, and I was like telling him about how I was feeling, and then he said, I got something that's gonna make you feel better. And he sent me this thing of Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry, right? And I guess he really likes that song. So then he sent that to me, and I listened to it, and it didn't really make me feel better at all, but it inspired me to be like, wow, dang, I really don't like this, this drawing stuff. I gotta figure out something else because I got 2 years left of school. Like, I gotta start getting some value, right? And so then I took a pottery class, and then that's kind of how it all started there, right? It was kind of like my last ditch effort, right? And when I first started, I actually didn't really like it that much, to be honest. I just thought it wasn't for me, and I wasn't really good at it. But since I kind of told myself I got to find something, I just said, well, this is it. Let's do it. So that's my pottery story. Crazy story, man. Thank you. It's kind of fun, right? I think that was like my first instance in my life where I really decided and kind of kept with it, right? I think before that, a lot of times in my life, I would kind of give up on my ideas, right? And so I stopped doing that. More so when I made that decision. I think that had something really helpful to me as a person, right? To do that for myself. No Woman, No Cry, goated song. It is a goated song. It just did make me feel better. My father also influenced my decision to pursue pottery in a weird way, so I can relate. Interesting. I wonder if that's like a pottery canon event, right? You know, like how everybody has like their Aunt May and their Uncle Ben and Spider-Man. It's like you get that, but as a pottery person. I feel like that'd be a fun thing to ask potters, is what was their intro story, and collecting and compiling it. Your back doesn't hurt from being in that same position? Not really. You know, I actually think that my body told itself, all right, you're not going to have back problems until you get way older, but for now we're going to give you invincible back, right? So I feel like my back is pretty good. I never really have any problem. I feel like if you see me from the side, here, we'll do a posture analysis here. Don't judge me too hard, right? But I'm kind of always, my back from my middle of my back up, like that's pretty straight until you get to like my neck where it kind of rolls over my shoulders a little bit, right? But I feel like this part of my back doesn't really move. It's just from here up. And so it's like above my lower back. I feel like that I'm always kind of at. I don't know if that's bad posture, but that's what my posture looks at. Right underneath. Camera B. Desk. Okay, let's see if we can just scoot this over a little bit, right? Get over there. And so how come I can move that and still keep that pretty round on the top, right? Is because I left so much clay on the bottom that it doesn't want to really shift, right? And so it also allows me to trim out pretty tall feet, which is fun. Pottery verse canon event. Can't wait for the trilogy. It's so funny. I think, hold on. Wheel. There we go. He said, my father said pots would be good target practice at the jump till I got good. That's crazy backstory, yo. Interesting. I really think that'd be a fun video. It seems like there's a couple people in here who are like pottery people, you know? So I can imagine if we start just gathering, like, we should, maybe like, maybe we can get something to trend one day, and then I can be like, do like a call out and be like, what was your intro to pottery story? And then everybody's tagged in a single video. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. Okay, here we go. Space. Is this a little bit too low? Hold on. Close in. Close in. I feel like this isn't really better, but we'll shift it in a second. What? You have voice commands set up to switch cams? That's rad. Ah, thank you, Red Hot Bagel. I'm scared to read names sometimes. You never know when somebody's gonna troll you with a name. For a potter, you have some of the best camera setups. Oh, I had some weird thing happen there. Hold on, guys. Zoom. I had like a little onion ring pop off, and so that was like, so sometimes when you see this little chunk here, this is actually an undercut. So this, if there's water on both these sides and it gets folded over, then sometimes it will result in these like weird little onion ring peel offs that you get. And so it kind of screwed me up there a little bit. For a potter, I have some of the best camera setups you've seen. I want to just keep on getting it better. Like, it's kind of frustrating because if I knew how to code, like, and program things, like, I'd want to have everything, like, mega automated, right? But it's kind of my problem right now is that actually looks kind of nice. I like this shape. I'm kind of limited by my knowledge. I'm a little bit too dumb to like code things, right? But I'm telling you, like, I imagine like I have a camera set up in the corner of a room that tracks where I'm at in the room, which decides which camera is showing, right? And then I can override that with voice commands as well. And then I also want to have like some camera sliders. So like, for example, I could have a camera slider right now, and as I'm throwing, the camera would slowly pan in, right? I thought about getting a zoom thing to do that, but I just don't know where I can find an automatic zoom rig that can connect to like OBS or voice commands. It's just kind of like it's just a hassle for me. So one day I hope to meet somebody like in my day-to-day who's gonna be like, bro, your setup is trash. Let me fix this, you know? And like cracks their knuckles like this, and then just and fixes everything for me. That'd be awesome. But I also think sometimes that's what like makes this thing mine too, is like I'm finding my own way to get something done, you know? So, you know, it'd be cool to have somebody help me out. I feel like I'm a little bit too stubborn, and I'd kind of be like, no, I gotta figure it out. If I want to do it, I gotta know it, you know? You can get some AI code. I can get an AI to code and program for you? No way. I actually just use... You know what's so funny? All right, if you guys go to the description, do you see how there's like that really weird story about like some pottery wizard? I literally was like, because always, hold on, desk, camera B. Oh, shoot. I think that's okay. That was a hard one to fit in there, yo. Alright, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 small ones we can do. No more large ones. Camera A? I was wondering what the fuck that story was. I was like, well, it had to be something, because before it was just like, I don't know what to put here, or like, I would do this thing where if you look back at some of the lives, it says like, AA battery, like red lid. Because I was just literally, whatever I saw first in my peripheral vision, that's what the title was, or that's what the description was. I just think like, sometimes if you look at people's descriptions, they feel so like, it's like so manufactured. It feels like I'm reading the label like on the back of a, like the, you know, like the calorie label. That's what it feels like. It's so like static, and I end up just not reading any of it anyway, right? So I was like, you know, I bet some people, like maybe most people, don't even read that stuff either. So why not just like do something like silly there instead? And so that's how I was doing that. But we all dreamt of that person cracking their knuckles at our problems and just fixing all of them. That's funny. But yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting though. You know, do you guys know what D&D is? This thing called Dungeons and Dragons, right? But it's also like, it doesn't have to be like dragons, you know? Like I was in, like when I was in high school, right? I was a part of a D&D group where we were Star Wars thing, right? I thought that was kind of interesting. And then I was in another thing when I was in undergrad, and I made this guy. He was like a potter, right, in this world, who used pots that he imbued with like runes, like a fire rune. So when he would throw pots at people, and they would explode with like some magic in it or something. And so like that's what was the inspiration for me asking that Chat GPT that story of a wizard in clay. Zoom. Like opening up the same can of soup. Wait, hold on. Just really smoothing this out quite a bit there. Close in. Camera B. Camera B. Right underneath this edge here, guys. And the wizard, content in his quiet work, never stopped shaping his dreams from the clay beneath his fingers. I thought you were the wizard. That's so funny. I feel like that'd be kind of like, you know, I always talk about like, I want to one day, camera A, desk, okay. I want to one day have like different like personas for the channel, right? And each of the personas will come on, and like the wizard will come on with like a green screen wizard hat, right? And then he'll do like a certain type of pottery. Maybe he does like the twisty tree stuff. And then like the pottery demon is like, the idea of the demon is all about like this, like some sense of labor I feel like is always attached to this demon idea in my head, right? Maybe not like how people view demon, but like how I view demon, like in a modern me context. Like I feel like a demon is someone who's just like high labor, you know? So I feel like it's all about making, it's all about producing, you know? And like not really trying to demand like something magnificent out of it, right? And then I want to have like a pottery, like a snob, right? Like someone, like I dress up in like a collar neck. What is that? A turtleneck. Oh, like a turtleneck. It's like a white turtleneck with like white everything. So it's like super clean, right? And I'll wash the wheel really clean. And I'll just throw like really geometric things. Great pants. Yeah. I always say like, for me, my outfit isn't on for the day until I have clay on my pants. Alright, zoom. Schizophrenic, multiple personality demon. That's what you want my new channel name to be? It's not like that. It's more like think think Power Rangers, yo. It's like these things come together to form the Megazord. So like maybe it would be like, the name would be like Pottery Megazord. Something really like cringe, but like in a nostalgic, healthy way, you know? I feel like I could do that, but I feel like Megazord is too like I feel like people who don't know Megazord wouldn't really get that. Joking like that, idea. The Power Rangers. Each one does a different dance at the end. That'd be kind of funny too. Camera A. Favorite Power Ranger series? Yo. For some reason, I remember like there was like a city themed one that was pretty good. And I don't think I really watched the dinosaur one, even though I really like dinosaurs. Mine, it was like, oh man. I think they were missing one of the Rangers though. Or, I just can't really remember. I'd have to look. The original or Space Rangers? I don't know some of them. I only know like some of the things. Light Speed Rescue? I don't know. I'd have to, hold on. We gotta look this up. All right, you guys gotta look at something while I'm looking this up. How about you look at this little horse. He's going for a walk. What, you guys? Zoom? So just imagine he's like galloping. You guys are on a merry-go-round? Well, I figure this out. Alright. Power Ranger series. Okay. There was Light Speed Rescue. There was, wow, there was so many. Oh, I remember Ninja Storm. I watched the Ninja one. I had some of the action figures of the Ninja ones. Not the Samurai ones though. Wow, there was a Samurai's one? Dino Thunder, I know that one. Let's see what else. Jungle Fury, I remember that too. And Wild Force seems familiar. But, okay. Anyway. Hard to remember those things. You guys gotta remember, I was really young when those things were around. You know. I was a little demon back then. Lost Galaxy. I didn't watch that one. I only said the ones I remember. See, I knew of Dino Thunder, I just didn't watch it. Maybe you're too old for this chat? No, you're okay. I'll get back to Pottery. I'm sorry. What was your thing that you watched then? What was your thing, Ben? What was your show? Okay, we actually need to do something else here. We've done too many just smooth forms. We'll do 2 lines. How funny is that? It's like, but you know, you'd be like, if you were to say that in a different context, like let's just put 2 lines there, it might not do too much, right? But 2 lines on a vessel, I feel like does like a ton. Okay, so we got those, and we're gonna use the corner here. Emphasize that. And then watch as we just kind of peel up the extra stuff here. We have no music, huh? Oh. We'll leave it like that. Do you see how it's like there's some sharp edges there? Usually you actually don't even worry about those because when you bisque the object, if I was to try to fix them right now, I might push them into those crevices, where if I just bisque the object and then it can no longer be a liquid clay, I can sand those smooth and it's a lot easier to do that, right? I liked Johnny Quest Action Adventure. Let's see that. Here, I'll put on some new music. What is this says the playlist finds me. All right. We'll do this. Okay, and you said, what was it again? Oh wait, hold on. You'd like Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest. Whoa! This looks like a comic book. Or this kind of almost looks like early arcade, like art that I'd see on early arcade machines. Or it even reminds me of like the Scooby-Doo style. Like this literally looks like Scooby-Doo. It's like OG Scooby-Doo maybe. Also like a little bit of Indiana Jones coded, but probably like the predecessor to that too, huh? And somebody said something about Godzilla. Sorry, I gotta scroll up one more time. Sorry, I'm kind of not throwing right now, guys. You guys are got me sucked into a cool thing. The Jetsons, the Godzilla movies were, the Godzilla movies were awesome. I watched so many of those. Way before Scooby-Doo. But you probably saw Scooby-Doo and were like, yo, that's Johnny Quest, right? Like it seems like Scooby-Doo ripped it off pretty hardcore then. Alright. Right over. Alrighty. Alright, we'll do one more little one here, right? And then we gotta start making the handles for these things. I don't know. Only like 4 years before Scooby-Doo. That's so funny. My friend loves Shaggy. My friend has this t-shirt that has like, you remember the eyes in Scooby-Doo that would be like in the background and be like little eyeballs everywhere? He has that, but on a t-shirt, but those eyes glow in the dark, right? So I remember I went into his room one time and I looked in his closet and there's literally eyes staring at me. It was hilarious. Really small, maybe. I think that looks okay. He-Man and the Power of Grayskull. I had so many He-Man toys. And He-Man had that freaking cool-ass saber-toothed cat that was like green, right? Or was that not his? Was that the enemy? I can't remember now. Watch what we're gonna do. Watch this, guys. So do you know what those are? Camera B. Close in. Mr. Green Jeans. have you guys ever watched Pippi Longstocking? We're watching a lot of Pippi Longstocking. Hold this down. You guys see that though? They're like little lamp fallen telephone poles. Right? Kind of cool, or no? Maybe not cool. And I feel like it's kind of like a funny, it's kind of like a funny thing too, is like you see these, what is it called? Let me get through this bottom part. I feel like you see shapes like those lines on like traditional forms, but I'm using that shape and then turning it into like a new version using this like modern context of them being telephone poles, right? I feel like it's kind of they're kind of fun, you know? These little telephone pole things. I remember, I gotta move this over a little bit. Oh. Oh man. This one got really screwed up by me. What am I gonna do? You can only move them so well. Anyway. Camera A. Alright, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10 of them. We could actually do another. I gotta get another little bucket. Camera B. Desk. Desk. Camera B. So I'm gonna take these away and we'll get some more normal ones here. Alright, so watch this. Now we can get another batch kind of opened up here and ready to fit in. So then that way I can kind of move them. Also, I like keeping them in boxes because it makes things a little bit easier to move around. Oh, what was you say? Oh, if I make a night sky and the stars look cool. Sorry, I haven't been really paying attention to what you guys are doing. Your kids called it. It's so funny that they called it Pissy Longstocking. That's hilarious. Oh wow, you guys are, dang, you guys are, sorry I'm not keeping up with the chat as much. See it now. Very cool. More Yosha. Davy and Goliath. Do you have a favorite piece? Do I have a favorite piece? No. I thought I did, but I think at Wheel, I feel like I lost my favorite piece. I don't have a favorite piece right now. I feel like sometimes, like when I make things, I like them, and then I start making a new thing, and I'm like, I don't like that thing that I made. So I feel like I kind of get a little bit sad that I don't. Hold on, let me get this up here. right out to the side. We actually kind of screwed up that top, so we got to fix that. Here, let's lock in here. Right down to the bottom one more time. Close in. We didn't do any bumps this time, so let's... We'll go straight up first, right? That's all we're doing is we're just emphasizing what's there. And that's the key to get those flutes kind of looking nice for us here. Open that up. Run off this edge. Zoom. Right underneath this edge here, right? For a minute there, my music was in sync with the spinning. I love those moments. Like, I'm glad you said something because I'll look for that when I go and edit. Like, I love when the music just kind of syncs with things. The bottom there. I think there was a charm to, like, a lot of the, I don't know what I would call this era, whatever before this era. Their intros, like I feel like intros and outros, the things were so much more like creative. I don't know, I feel like nowadays, I feel like a lot of things are kind of similar, like they bleed and blend. I don't know if you guys feel the same though. Like I feel like a lot of those older shows had such great like attention to their soundtracks. Okay. For now, we gotta make 11 little things, right? So, one of them we'll make is a little flower knob, right? We haven't done one of these in a while, but we'll do it. So right up to the top. Split this away a little bit here. That's okay. So yeah, we're just feeling the clay. Right. Right off that edge. Better when you watch with a friend. Me too. But I used to watch Saturday morning cartoons. Back when Gen X was a thing. I saw someone in a full replica suit of the original red. Made me jealous. I kind of want a helmet. Interesting. I feel like nowadays too, you could probably find that same helmet as like a 3D printed model, and you could print it, you know. This is our first knob we've made in a while. We haven't really done one of these in a really long time. Camera A. Gotta get some new water here. We could probably do a couple of those actually. We could probably do 3 of those. Dude, you guys hear this song right now? It's a vibe right now, guys. Hold on. Good. Ciao. Little dance break for you guys. I try not to breathe that much when I'm doing that, because I think it's a little bit funner. Gotta bring this back. Gotta go now. Gotta get a pizza. Alright, sorry guys. Had to do that. Sometimes the music, it just beckons. Zoom. Bring this up. Right down to the bottom. Flip that off. What we got there? Nice little nodula right here, right? Open this up. Split this rim. Try to thin out this rim without ripping that bottom. And collapsing it down, that's okay too. Camera B? Camera B? So you guys can kind of see a little flower with different levels, right? So these are going to be the handles. Kind of fun, right? There we go. Just throwing some really like weird forms, right? I always think when I'm on the wheel, when I'm throwing off the hump here, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to maximize potential. Wherever I see potential, how do I maximize that, right? Potential to go wrong sometimes, but also you have the potential to find a new area too. New direction, new doors get opened, right? All right, smooth this out, open. Bring this up just a little bit. So again, trying to find something right here. Okay, we got a weird little bump. That's okay. We're gonna continue to bring this up.
Nothing else is counting anymore. When it feels like everything's becoming black. Trust. 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 Trust.
Back as the Ross of Clay. It's so funny. It is known. You guys are so funny. After watching for many months, I've seen how music affects your vibe. It energizes me. No, it totally does. Okay. All right, and then right down to the bottom. We got this weird freaking, I don't even know what I'd call this thing, right? I feel like I gotta make, if this is a handle, there's gotta be like a bee or something that like, you know, he's sitting on this right edge, like a thrown little ceramic bee. All right. Alrighty, now we gotta start making the little small things here, right? The pinnacle of non-functionality. Well, those are gonna be the handles, right? Those like little things. I'm throwing handles now. Or a butterfly, like a thrown butterfly. feel as though I would have to fight the temptation and just slam my fist down into the work if I make mistakes. Yeah, you always find like a, hold on, wheel. Alright, so I'll show you what we're doing right now, guys. But I feel like early on you'll always have that feeling, but I feel like I stopped having that feeling after a little bit. You know, there's like the plan and make the things that like I feel like you wanna make, right? I feel like after a certain while I just stopped making forms that I really just didn't want to make. It's a functional handle. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it functions. The music is a window to the soul. I agree. Slamming the clay is satisfying though. That's true. You guys ready? Close in. There we go, guys. First handle of the day. Love the way these look up. They crinkle. I have a little air pocket there, right? Thanks, Fresh Cup of Joel. A little water down. And this air pocket, you can see even just popped off. I didn't do bad. I did a bad job of making sure air didn't get underneath. Oh. Look at the little divot. Okay. So try to get this restuck on there with no little divot. And so I want to take all this water off. You see how I kind of made a little rounded point to it? I would say normally I would advise somebody not to reattach, but as long as you feel like you can get that back on top there, it'll be good. Alright. Here we go. Push down. I'm going to bring this out really wide. Okay. So what I just did there was a pottery no-no, so don't do that in your classes. But in your home studio, when no one's watching, you can do that. Well, maybe kind of screw this one up, but we'll. Kind of salvaged it. There's some weird spots though, but I feel like this top part, this part here, that's kind of good. We'll leave that. So we got two of these double fold split ones now. So I think we can start making some smaller ones. Wheel. I like that you guys, I wish that wheel was a little bit more zoomed in here. Maybe close in was a little bit more zoomed out. Maybe a flat bottle vase. I don't know what a flat bottle is. So no, I've not. Maybe if you can explain the form. Tag flat bottle. A bottle that is flat. I'm imagining you just like take two really flat plates and put them together and then maybe make like a little mouthpiece on it. Is that what you mean? Or like a little neck added onto it? closing. Like ribbon candy. I'll zoom this out just a tad. I think this is responsible. It's gonna make the content a little bit cleaner too. So, go to gimbal control. I think that's okay. So now you guys can see more of what's going on. That'll be better. You've mastered the handle folding process? No, even though the ones that look nice like that, like they're cool, right? They're cool when they work and they're really uniform. But also, like sometimes I like when there's like the little whoopsie daisies, right? And I feel like those kind of make and allow it to still be like a fresh form. So I'm gonna just bring this out. And so I always think that getting things thin kind of influences in the fold in weird ways because they're more reactive to your throwing off center a little bit, right? And so here, let's see if we can get anything cool. No, this one's also pretty good. Like that centerpiece that's the meat and potatoes right there. What does the other side look like? The same? No, the other side looks like shit. Or it doesn't look good. So it's usually flat, but what I find is that it becomes like nice when you glaze things because then that back kind of acts as like a weird, like a behind the scenes thing, right? So recently I've been spraying the back of them with like a really bright orange. So like you see it from one angle and it's just like all one color and then it slowly shifts to like the flat, boring side, and you have a really strong pop of color, right? It's like two plates stuck together with a neck on the top and maybe a foot. Yes, I have not done a flat bottle vase yet then. Suffering from, no, that's funny though. All right. So we're gonna make this one, instead of tall, we're gonna make this one really flat. And then, so all we wanna do is we wanna lift up these edges just a little bit, right? And so flat is gonna be different than if it's really thin and narrow, right? They're gonna fold differently. This is kind of like a mass. It almost looks like some organ. It looks like tripe, like the stomach casing or intestinal casing. I feel like it's a popular food to eat. That size probably more. Yeah, maybe. I feel like they're not really, like for me, the inspiration of these was a jelly fungus that I saw in the woods, right? And the jelly fungus, it was like on this like fresh cut like wood. It was just growing out of this wood, so it's just a cylinder, like a log, like a clean form, and then this really gross looking malformed, like bright orange growth on the side. And I was like, what is that? You know, I found out it was jelly fungus. And so I like when these handles are a little bit weird. I like when they're a little bit less like precise. But sometimes, like if you look at like mushrooms and fungus though, like they do have some patterns in them though too, right? So it's like this uncanny, like almost geometric or like off geometric or like outside of our understanding of what geometric looks like. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too like, Even some of these small ones will keep these like little shavings. Look, this is a lot more like, reminds me of petals, right? No, that's a good explanation. Oh, okay, cool. Morel mushroom, kind of. I bet you could probably make some that look like that, you know? They're pretty cool mushroom too. I like they'd be like a nice handle to hold, like a little morel. Or a certain type of coral. Yeah, I feel like that could also be a thing too. Or like some weird sea anemone type dealios. Kind of like the slow, so then we can have like one side a little bit off, like maybe this is the side that kind of sits by its lonesome, right? Have I made ceramic jewelry? Oh, yo, that's actually like such a good idea, especially I feel like these as earrings would like pop off. I hate how you just made me think about that. You know how much time I'm gonna waste now in thinking about how to do that idea? That's so funny. Sometimes like ideas. Okay, that's your idea. Okay, you do it. Okay. Whew. Sorry. But I can imagine these as earrings would be kind of cool, where they pop off. Shouldn't have said anything. That's true. You gotta make sure. There's somebody already cooking on the idea. Just as we spoke it, somebody's already. Alright. Oh, that's gonna be kind of weird, but that's okay. Again. Kind of like intestines. This one's a medium vibe. It's all been done before, true. Bullet ribbons would look good as earrings. You had the same thought, yeah. I don't know, I feel like I'd have to sit with that for a little bit, you know? I still don't, it's hard for me to even think about like selling stuff first, so let me get to that point and then I'll kind of think more about it. Yeah. I wonder, like, I wonder if the raccoon set on skin though. I wonder if that would be bad for somebody though. You know, maybe if it's hanging far enough off the neck, it'd be all chill. But I don't know actually. I just know I wouldn't want to drink out of anything that was raccoon fire. Alright guys, how cool, you know? We're all the way back. It's a small little thing. This one small little cup. Very small. Mini little bowls. Mini little bowl, guys. Just a little baby bowl. A little baby bowl. Oh, look at that. Hello. Zoom. Hey guys, it's me, the Pottery Wizard. I have a little bowl right on my head. Part of the Pottery Wizardry is balancing a bowl on your head for your whole entire life. It's been 40 years since I've put this bowl on the top of my head. It will never fall off, ever. Thanks so much for watching, guys. All the best and strong mentality. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. That one, I already did some flowers, so at the very end there, I thought I'd do just a mini little bowl. Why not? Kim-Ray? But peace out, guys. Peace out. Thanks for watching.